Candidate screening software is the fastest growing category in recruiting tech right now, and also the most confusing, because every tool in the space claims to screen candidates, but they all mean something completely different. Some screen resumes, some screen interviews, some screen assessments, some try to do all three, and the differences matter way more than buyers realize. Here's how the category actually breaks down and what to look for. So, what does candidate screening software actually do? At the simplest level, candidate screening software sits between applications come in and you decide who to interview. The gap is where recruiters lose most of their week. Reading resumes, doing phone screens, chasing hiring managers for feedback. Screening software compresses that gap. But here's where it gets interesting. There are three fundamentally different approaches to screening, and most tools only do one. So let's explore the three approaches. Approach number one is resume-based screening. The tool ingests resumes, parses them, and scores candidates against criteria you set. Things like years worth of experience, particular skills, certifications, where they live, or whatever matters for the role. The best ones let you define the criteria per position. The worst ones use a generic quality score. Resume screening is fast and handles volume really well. The limitation, resumes are now the least trustworthy document in hiring. Think AI generated, that are keyword stuff, polished beyond recognition. You're screening the document, not the person. So the second approach is interview-based screening. This is a one-way video interview. Candidates record answers to your questions on their own time. AI transcribes, scores, and summarizes the responses. You review highlights instead of scheduling 50 phone screens. This captures something resumes just can't: how someone actually communicates, thinks on their feet, and presents themselves. It's a much harder signal to fake because the candidate has to actually show up and talk. The third approach is assessment-based screening. These are things like pre-employment assessments. Think of a personality test or a situational judgment test, cognitive ability, and skills tests. These measure how someone thinks and behaves, not what they claim on a resume or say in an interview. The newest development here, assessments that are scored against your preferences rather than a universal ideal, which makes them much more difficult to game with AI. Now, here's the key insight. No single approach is enough. Resumes show credentials, but are super easy to fake. Interviews show communication, but can be rehearsed. Assessments show thinking, but lack context. The tools creating the most value in candidate screening software in 2026 combine 2 or 3 of these into one screening flow. So, here's what to look for in a candidate screening platform. 1. Can you customize the screening per role? A customer success hire and a warehouse supervisor require completely different screening criteria. If the tool uses one-size-fits-all scoring, it's not actually helping you. It's just sorting randomly with a little bit of confidence. 2. Does it show you why? Every score needs an explanation. If you can't see what drove a candidate's ranking, you can't defend the shortlist to your hiring manager. Explainability isn't a nice to have. It's the difference between a tool you trust and a tool you abandon in a month. Number 3, how many signals does it use? Resume-only screening was fine 5 years ago. In 2026, with AI-generated applications flooding every single role, one signal isn't enough anymore. Look for tools that layer multiple screening methods so you're not making decisions on a single data point. And finally, number 4, does it replace your judgment or inform it? The best screening software surfaces signal and helps you prioritize. It doesn't auto-reject candidates and hope it got it right. You should always be the one making the call. All right, here's a quick look at the landscape. There are a few tools worth evaluating out there, depending on your approach. The first is resume-focused. These are companies like Ideal, Manatal, or the AI screening that's built into your ATS today. These are good for high-volume resume filtering, but they're pretty limited to the document analysis. Then there are interview-focused. This is HireVue, Spark Hire, and HireFlex. They're one-way video tools with varying levels of AI analysis. And then there's the combined approach. This is Truffle, and full disclosure, this is ours. This combines video interviews, talent assessment, and resume screening into one workflow. AI scores against your criteria across all the layers you choose, or all three together for the most powerful insight. You design the process, AI surfaces the signal, and you get to make the call in the end. It starts at $150 a month, and you get a 7-day free trial. The point here isn't which tool you pick. It's understanding what kind of screening you actually need before you start evaluating. The link to Truffle's free trial is in the description below if you want to see the combined approach in action. And if you're in the middle of evaluating screening tools, drop a comment with what you're comparing. Happy to give you an honest take.